The Elizabethan era, spanning from 1558 to 1603, was marked by significant tensions between England and Spain, ultimately leading to war. The relationship between these two powerful nations was complex, shaped by a combination of political, religious, and economic factors that steadily escalated over the decades. Politically, the rivalry between England and Spain was rooted in their competing ambitions for dominance in Europe and the New World. Spain, under King Philip II, was the most powerful nation in Europe with vast territories in the Americas, and it sought to maintain and expand its influence. England, on the other hand, was emerging as a formidable power under Queen Elizabeth I, and its growing assertiveness threatened Spanish hegemony. This competition was further complicated by personal and dynastic tensions. Philip II had been married to Elizabeth's half-sister, Mary I of England, and after her death, he briefly sought to marry Elizabeth herself to maintain his influence in England. However, Elizabeth's refusal and subsequent policies that promoted England's independence from Spanish control only fueled Philip's animosity. Religious differences were another major source of tension. Spain was staunchly Catholic, and Philip II saw himself as a defender of the Catholic faith, determined to eradicate Protestantism. England, under Elizabeth, was a Protestant nation, and her religious reforms were deeply resented by the Catholic powers of Europe, especially Spain. The execution of Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1587, who was seen as a Catholic martyr and a legitimate Catholic claimant to the English throne, further exacerbated the religious hostility. Philip II, who had previously supported Catholic plots to overthrow Elizabeth, now saw the execution as a final provocation that justified military action against England. Economic factors also played a crucial role in the deteriorating relationship between England and Spain. The English were increasingly engaging in piracy against Spanish treasure fleets, which transported vast wealth from the Americas to Spain. Privateers like Sir Francis Drake, with the tacit approval of Elizabeth, attacked and looted Spanish ships, severely disrupting Spain's flow of wealth. These acts of piracy were not only a direct economic threat, but also a symbol of England's growing maritime power, challenging Spanish supremacy on the seas. The situation reached a breaking point over the Netherlands. The Dutch were in open revolt against Spanish rule, seeking independence and religious freedom, as the region was largely Protestant. Elizabeth had provided covert support to the Dutch rebels for years, supplying them with funds and volunteers, while Spain viewed this as direct interference in its internal affairs. The conflict in the Netherlands was both religious and political, as it pitted the Protestant Dutch against their Catholic Spanish rulers. England's involvement in the conflict escalated after the signing of the Treaty of Nonsuch in 1585, in which Elizabeth agreed to provide military assistance to the Dutch. This was a clear declaration of hostility towards Spain, and Philip II responded by preparing for war. The war between England and Spain, often epitomized by the Spanish Armada's failed invasion in 1588, was a culmination of these intertwined political, religious, and economic tensions. The Armada, a massive fleet sent by Philip II to invade England and restore Catholicism, was defeated by the English navy and adverse weather conditions. This victory was seen as a turning point, not only securing England from Spanish invasion but also establishing it as a major naval power. The war continued sporadically for several more years, with battles fought in the Atlantic and the Caribbean. But the defeat of the Armada marked the decline of Spanish dominance and the rise of England as a global power. In summary, the war with Spain during the Elizabethan era was driven by a combination of political rivalry, religious conflict, and economic competition. The support of the Dutch rebellion by England, coupled with the broader clash of Protestantism versus Catholicism, brought these tensions to a head, leading to a conflict that would shape the future of both nations and the balance of power in Europe.